Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to you all to this very important symposium and workshop looking into really the potential of the creative industry sector here in Townsville. My name is Trevor Goldstone. I'm the Director of Business Development and Operations with the Faculty of Law, Business and Creative Arts at James Cook University. And it is my pleasure to open this symposium today, and I'll be just perhaps providing you with a few opening thoughts to get the process underway today. But before we do that, firstly I'd like to warmly welcome Councillor Colleen Doyle, and Councillor Doyle is representing the Mayor today, and also Councillor Les Walker. Welcome to you both. I'd also like to acknowledge the Indigenous elders and acknowledge the fact that we're meeting today on Indigenous land, the land of the Walkarikava and Bindal people, and a warm welcome to Gal Mabo, a famous family name in Indigenous issues. I'd also like to welcome a couple of very special guests today. We have with us Associate Professor Susan Luckman from the University of South Australia and Dr. Chris Brennan-Hawley from the University of Wollongong. Welcome to you both, and we appreciate you sharing your expertise and your time with us today, and I'm sure we will find that these two visiting researchers will add a great deal of depth to our conversation today. I'd also like to acknowledge Professor Peter Murphy, who is the head of the School of Creative Arts at James Cook University. Welcome, Peter. And I'd also like to just provide you with an apology from Professor Robin McGuigan, who is the Pro-Vice Chancellor of our faculty. She's actually travelling in China as we speak, so is unable to be here today. I'd also like to acknowledge the members of our panel who have volunteered, at least I think some of them volunteered, to participate in the panel discussion. So we have Alex McCormick from Mac Advertising, Andrew Abernathy from Channel 7, Honey Atkinson from Insight Creative, Shane Fitzgerald from the Perth Tucker Regional Gallery, Stephen DeJersey from SDJ Architects, Tegan Nash from Verb Design, and Trish O'Callaghan from Townsville Enterprise. I also say, from my perspective, I'm a member of the Regional Development Australia Board for the Townsville and North West Queensland region, so I certainly attend today with a perspective of a regional development hat that I wear, and I also happen to be the Deputy Chairman of Dance North. Okay, so the realm of creative industries in Townsville. It is a very exciting time for us. There is a sense that the creative industries is starting to push through as a legitimate and strong aspect for consideration from a very wide range of perspectives. From an employment perspective, from a cultural perspective for this city, from an economic perspective, and the links that creative industries are starting to forge can actually be considered limitless. When I got up on, I think it was Tuesday morning this week, I was having my Weet-Bix and I was listening to Simon Crean, the Minister for the Arts, federally, talk about the lead up to the release of the new arts policy. And he said something interesting. He said that the creative industry sector, and he used that term, not creative arts, he used the term the creative industry sector, now makes up 6% of the Australian employment marketplace. Now that is considerably larger than many sectors of the employment marketplace that we are more familiar with and would accept are major employment areas in our national community. But not only that, he told us that the growth rate in the creative industry sector was running at about 4.5%, roughly double most other employment areas. So this really creates for us, I think, a great opportunity to start fleshing out for the Townsville community. Have we got a great opportunity sitting on our doorstep or not? And how can we take best advantage of it? The links between creative industries and other areas of our economy and our employment employment sector are starting to become obvious. Now, just yesterday I sat down with a piece of paper and I thought, well, where are the areas, from my perspective, starting to emerge? Certainly there are links with the media, in marketing, in education and training, in design, business, links to science. Certainly technology is a massive area. Creativity, innovation, as well as the cultural arts component of our lifestyles and our community. Keep in mind that the regional gross product of the North Queensland Statistical Division is a bit over $13 billion per annum. We have a very vibrant and healthy economy for this community. As we know, Townsville has been growing at an exponential rate for around about 15 years. And we were just chatting earlier about how Townsville is a wonderful place for attracting and capturing people. Many people in this room, in fact I might ask for a show of hands, how many people in this room have come from somewhere else and have settled in Townsville? Okay, so probably 2/3 to 3/4. And that is what we do as a community. Now, what is the difference between you coming to a place like Townsville and saying, this is home, as opposed to staying here perhaps 1 or 2 or 3 years and then moving on, or back home, where you came from? Well, we know for a city to be self-sustaining in its own right, to be able to generate and provide a holistic lifestyle, we need to have a balance. And that balance needs to include good educational resources and good health resources and safety and public amenity. But very importantly and crucially, it needs to also have a vibrant heartbeat around the creative arts and creative industry sector. And for many people, that will make the difference as to whether they stay or whether they go. So we have an opportunity to start building a stronger core, a stronger heartbeat around the creative arts sector and start to link it in an economic sense to many areas within our regional economy. Another benefit of Townsville is that we have a very attractive economic pie. We are the envy of most regional communities in Australia. If you look at our regional economic pie, you'll see that there are about 20 discernible sectors, each in their own right, contributing strongly to the economy in this region. And we know what happens to communities who depend almost entirely, or certainly significantly, on one sector or 2 sectors only. When there is a downturn in those areas, we, or they, suffer terribly in terms of unemployment and a hit to the economy. Townsville is in a great position that it has that diversity in its economic base. And it is my belief that the creative industry sector has a massive opportunity to work in collaboration with virtually all 20 of those sectors in some form or another, in terms of innovation, in terms of creative industries development. And I think that's our challenge. It's our challenge as a community to determine how are we going to grasp the initiative? How are we going to drive the plan and the ideas so that we can benefit from the potential that is there? And so today, led by Professor Ryan Daniel, we will be looking at forming up a crucial project around our creative industry sector. And the conversation that we're hoping to engage with you today is about how we harness the capability, the ideas, and the passion. And that is something very important to the creative industry sector. I don't think there is a sector that's got greater passion about what they do. We have to harness that passion and put it in the right direction. And just on that passion, I was at a meeting earlier this week of industry leaders, and we were talking about how we can start to market and promote creative industries better to those young people at school that are coming through and starting to make choices and decisions about the career directions they take. And at the moment it is very difficult to convincingly put couple of principals at this meeting, and they said to us, well, people that work in the creative arts sector and the arts sector generally, they tend to be self-selecting. And they do that because A, they've got a natural ability that they can harness and they're good at. And secondly, they have a passion for doing it. They get a great deal of reward. So we can promote creative industries to school students. But how do we harness that passion and that capability, but also align it with a career pathway and potential for? And that's one of the difficulties that we've had in the past, but I think looking at creative industries in a broader sense will help us to paint that picture for students as to the diversity of futures that they may possibly have. So from our perspective, that's just a few opening thoughts around the scope of the conversation today and the sorts of areas that we may get into, because we certainly do need to, as I said, grasp the challenge and determine our future when it comes to the potential for creative industries in Townsville. And with those thoughts, I think at this point I'll now hand over to Professor Ryan Daniel.